If you're in the market for an affordable Stratocaster-style guitar, you owe it to yourself to check these two out. Today we're going to feature the differences between the NF3 from PRS and the John Mayer Silver Sky SE Edition. Stick around. You're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you want to support the channel, you can visit our spring store link below for custom swag. Check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional. Or, since I've talked to a number of you recently who have said as much, you can buy things from us. If you enjoy our videos and we have the product that you want, make sure to give us a call, visit our website, and chat with us. We love to help you find the guitar of your dreams. These two guitars might be in a lot of your dreams at the end of this video. These are fantastic models from PRS in their SE line. If you're unfamiliar, the SE line, which used to stand for Student Edition, I don't know if they really call it that anymore, is basically the import line from PRS or Paul Reed Smith guitars. They're based out of Maryland, but these guitars are built with Cortec in its own line or factory in Indonesia, and they are imported into the United States. They represent fantastic values given these designs. For a lot of people that I've talked to, the SE guitars that they purchased have become some of their favorite guitars, even overshadowing some much more expensive guitars that they own. So they're great guitars, period, but they're really great guitars for the money. And today, we want to highlight these two Strat-Style guitars in the lineup. It's the Silver Sky, which is a John Mayer signature model, and the NF3 that owes its heritage to the 1990s EG model that came long before it. So for all the people that got, riled about on the internet when they came out with a John Mayer Silver Sky back in the day, Paul Reed Smith was building these style guitars a long time ago. But it should be said, this is probably the biggest departure from PRS's typical design as anything they've ever made. So let's start with it, shall we? There's two truths. One, John Mayer tends to be somewhat controversial and polarizing. The other one is that if you put his name and you collaborate with him on just about anything, guitar players will buy it. Myself included. I'm a big fan of John's. I also appreciate his deprecating humor, him wearing like I'm the douchebag t-shirts and things like that. So I like John for that. He's a great musician, and he played a Strat for years. He still pulls out some of his Strats from time to time, but from what we understand, he wanted to do some things. I don't know the specifics. People can conjecture all day, but his relationship with Fender soured. He had a signature model with them for years, and he went over and he started working with PRS guitars. The first thing to come out of that collaboration was a very expensive guitar that he was using with his Dead & Company gig. But after that, after people spotted him playing an EG, it looked like, in Instagram and so forth, eventually what was unveiled was the Silver Sky. And the Silver Sky is Paul Reed Smith's version of a Stratocaster. We don't have to beat around the bush. That's what it is. What's funny about it is it comes with a lot of input from John Mayer. And if there's a Strat player that you should listen to, that's probably the one you should listen to. Now, there's a core version or a US-made version of this guitar where the specs are very, very similar to it, but it's made in Maryland. And then, of course, there's this import version. There is this maple model, maple-necked version. You can also get it with rosewood in a number of finishes. But let's talk about what kind of makes it a little bit different. First of all, the body's a little bit different, or in some cases a lot different. The whole footprint's a little smaller. You've got the typical horn carve here that gives you a lot of upper fret access that PRS is known for. The finishes in the US line have contrast there. If it does in this case, I don't think it does, and I can't tell, but if it does, it's done very, very well. The switch tip feels different, the knobs feel different, the pickups feel different. It's a more vintage style Strat bridge here with bent steel saddles, which will come back when we're looking at the NF3. You'll never unsee this after I point this out to you, but the pickguard shape actually follows the contour of the body. And you might think that a Strat does that exact same thing, but you would be wrong. And if you go look at the Strat that you own, or you pull up pictures on the internet because maybe you don't have one, and you look at how the pickguard is on the Strat relative to the line in the body, you will wonder why they did it that way. but that's how they did it in 1954. That's pretty much how they've done it. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So I'm sorry for that. But that's one of the things that they changed here. This has a very un-PRS like 25.5-inch scale length, so very Fender-esque scaling, and a compromise radius. It's 8.5-inch radius. So it's a little rounder than most modern Fenders, which is 9.5. I think when these first came out, they were 7.25, which is a vintage Fender radius, and people have opinions about that. 8.5 is where they've landed on for current specification. One thing that you'll notice is that the headstock is reversed and changed. So the longer point of the horn is now on the treble side, and right here it's elongated so that it's more comfortable, you know, where you're playing. Again, all feedback from John. All in all, if you're looking for a Strat-Style 3 single pickup guitar, 5-way switch, set up like we like, little touches like the change in how the input jack works, the nice curvature of the heel, the overall fit and finish, build quality to this, the fantastic tuners, everything about this guitar for the money puts you at the same price point roughly as a Player 2 series. You also get a gig bag, and we've compared this to Player 2 Strats in the past, and a lot of people preferred the sound of the Silver Sky. It tended to have a stronger, a little bit more gain, more mid-range sound to it. Now, if you like the Strat, a lot of people on that video that we compared this to liked the Strat as well. Neither is wrong, they just are what they are. But this is a fantastic guitar. It's very well thought out, and for the price point, the features that you get are really great. But it's a straightaway 5-way switch Strat. It plays great, it comes with a bag, it's a good value. So why would you not get this, and why would you, if you're looking for something like this, look for the NF3? Well, maybe you're a fan of PRS, and in which case, this holds a little bit closer to the typical PRS mold. This is a 25-inch scale length, like most PRS guitars. It has a 10-inch radius, like most PRS guitars. It is a bolt-on maple neck guitar, double cutaway, like a Strat, like the Silver Sky we were just looking at. The body's different. You do have that same carve-out in the treble side horn, but you get a really straightaway tone, volume, 5-way switch. The pickups and the bridge are decidedly different on this guitar. And by the way, I love the metallic orange. Hopefully I'm not in the minority. From the moment I saw all these pictures with the black pickguard, I was like, yes, that's killer. Birds, metallic orange, I'll take it. Comes with a bag. Did I mention they all come with a bag? They all come with a bag. Manufacturers that don't include bags, get with it. It's good for the economy. It's good for everybody. So, 3 pickups that are not single coils, but they're designed to be single coil-esque. So they're humbuckers, which means they buck the hum. They're quiet. These are the narrow-filled deep dish SE version pickups. What they are is they are very narrow humbuckers that are designed and voiced to sound mini humbucker P90-ish, single coil-ish. Maybe we should qualify it this way. Not all single coils are Fender single coils. P90s are single coils. There's a sound to them. There's a clarity that you get. There's that chime that you get, but they have a bit more to them, right? That's what I love about P90s. That's what I love about really old style path pickups. You know, a lot of people forget, like, all that was happening with a humbucker is let's get that sound, but let's not get the hum that goes with it. And so I really like the sound of a P90. I really like the sound of single coils, but not weak single coils. Like, you don't want it to be anemic, right? You need a little bit more power to it. That's why so many people that have a Strat will just put it through some kind of a boost, you know, or they'll put it through a deco, or they'll put it through something in order to saturate the signal a little bit more. Maybe you don't have to do that with this. So you get a 5-way switch that gives you all of the combinations that you would expect through these fantastic pickups. It's a different sound, but it's a very, very good one. I wouldn't say that it sounds Strat-like and like it's a direct comparison to the same single coils that are on the Silver Sky. It's not, but I dig the sound. Because of the shorter scale length, you have a bit more flexibility to the strings, and you have a little bit of a flatter fingerboard that you may or may not be more comfortable with. It just depends. The bridge on here is very cool because this is very similar to the bridges on the core model and other typical models from PRS. I've talked about this in the past. The benefit of this bridge is that you have really nice saddles that are kind of block designed. They are captured within the channel of the bridge. There's a bit more mass to it that I think is helpful. And each of those 6 screws is not like a vintage Fender tremolo. Each one of them has a channel, a shallow channel in them, and the whole bridge sits at a knife edge against it so that it stays very, very stable. And so I find these to be one of the more stable floating tremolos out there. I have a core model PRS. I never have issues with it tuning at all. So there you go. Which one is the right one for you? Well, Cooper's going to put them through their paces so you can hear the sound differences for yourself. Check it out. All right, so there you have it. Very similar, but different guitars from a fantastic manufacturer with really great fit and finish. Let's look at the headstocks. I mentioned the Silver Sky is different. So you can see it's almost a mirror image of the traditional PRS headstock with the longer treble side kind of curvature right there. I don't even know what you'd call it off the top of my head. Maple necks that feel great, bolted on securely to these bodies. Very different sounds that come out of here, but you do have all of those combinations you get from the 5-way switch. Straight ahead, volume tone, or you get the more nuanced volume and 2 tones on this one. Different in feel, different in size, different tremolos and so forth. Which one would you go with? Which one did you go with? Maybe you have come to this video just to reassure you of the purchase you already made. But let us know in the comments below. For me, I don't know. It would be a tough pick. I love the Strats that I have. And I've been partial to the Silver Sky, but I gotta tell you, when the NF3 came in, Cooper and I were immediately smitten. This was one of his favorite guitars, period, that we got in with our initial shipment from PRS. And I have to echo that. I really, really dig this guitar. So it's pretty cool. I'd have a hard time picking between them, but I'd love to hear what you guys think between these two guitars. So let us know in the comments below. And should they make a core model NF3? They've got the Fiore and some other cool stuff. CE24s, all sorts of things. Maybe they should put that in there like the EG of old. This, very similar to this guitar back in the 90s, was when the EG came out, and the EG2 and so forth. So pretty neat. Anyways, let me know what you think. If you'd like information on either of these guitars or anything else from Paul Reed Smith, visit our website at alamomusic.com. And if you're new to our channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, keep coming back for more. I'll see you next time.